A warm welcome to the second edition of our UpLoad video magazine for 2026. Today, we're following two spectacular crane operations, where power and lifting height are key. We also demonstrate how digital tools make resource planning and crane training simpler and more cost-effective. Our first trip takes us to the Swiss Alps. After 5 years of construction, a new massive wall was completed at the Grimsel Reservoir in the Bernese Oberland, at an altitude of almost 2,000 meters. Its sheer scale is impressive, both visually and technically. More than 500,000 tons of concrete were transported into the formwork for the horizontally and vertically curved dam, which is over 100 meters high. The work was completed with the use of a Liebherr mobile crane to dismantle the last of the large construction cranes.
We're here in the Bernese Oberland on the Grimsel Pass to dismantle a luffing jib construction crane.
The old dam wall is around 100 years old and in need of renovation. For economic reasons, we decided to build a new dam in front of the old one. The old dam wall will remain in place and will be made permeable with boreholes so that the space between can be filled with water. There has never been anything like this in this form. The crane dismantling job begins, and with it, a significant chapter of history draws to an end. We have had the advantage of being able to continue producing electricity throughout the 6-year construction period from 2019 to 2025. This was, of course, a considerable advantage for the clients.
This dam is over 100 meters high. You also have to bear in mind that the construction time here in the mountains is very short. Normally, you can start in May, and if things go badly, it's already over in October. We erected and assembled the two luffing jib cranes here 4 years ago and are now dismantling the cranes with our Liebherr LTM 1650-8.1. Our system length is over 130 meters. We're working here with a mast extension and 63-meter luffing jib and have load cases for a boom of up to 28 tons. We're here with 105 tons of counterweight or ballast at the start, and Y-guying is also required. The radius for dismantling the construction crane is around 32 meters. This is actually ideal and corresponds roughly to the crane's forced delivery for this job. We appreciate the modern concept of this machine, especially with Vario base. We can say that the combination of Vario base and Vario ballast makes it possible to do jobs with such a large device that were previously reserved for machines with 6 axles. And we've already been able to get 1 or 2 things out of it and offer the customer solutions that were previously not possible with the predecessor model. And this is something we really appreciate with this machine. It's as strong as an ox, and yet still reasonably compact.
And to remain on the subject of spectacular constructions, a new bridge is being built across the Neckar in Horb. 2 Liebherr cranes belonging to our client Wiesbauer are being used to install solid steel plates on the underside of the 2 bridge decks, an LR 1700-1.0 crawler crane and an LTM 1650-8.1 mobile crane.
We have been commissioned by the Karlsruhe Regional Council to build a semi-integral bridge with stay cables and pylons to bypass the town of Horb. Ultimately, this is a bridge with many challenges, not only in terms of its length, but also its height above the valley. The bridge itself is 70 meters high above the Neckar, and the pylons are another 40 meters high. The bridge is 600 meters long in total. We are now in the process of installing heavy plates together with Wiesbauer. These are steel sheets, some of which have a total weight of 75 tons. The heavy plates were attached to a traverse at the bottom. They ensure the construction's stability, solidity and permanency.
We have an LR 1700 crawler crane here and work with around 300 tons of suspended ballast. We've now erected 132 metres of main boom plus 12 metres of tip here. Added to this are 42 metres of counterboom, also known as a derrick. Now we've lifted the heavy plate on the crossbeam onto the bridge using the crawler alone. To do this, the suspended ballast had to be lowered at the rear. Depending on the situation, we have to stack it up or down a little so that we can free up the ballast at the back for swivelling. This is perfect because we have to drive the crawler here to pick up the plates and then swivel them to the bridge. The special thing about the construction site is that we always have to go in quite far with the V-frame to swivel to 13 metres. And then when we place the heavy plates on top of the bridge, we have to push them out again. But it all runs perfectly. The LTM 1650-8.1 then struck the other side, and we were then able to move the bridge completely in a tandem lift. I actually prefer to drive Liebherr equipment. I think the technology is simply the best. And in terms of operation, it's just great.
In the end, it took us over a year to organize and prepare everything to make this day a real success.
The next chapter of the Crane Finder. We've reported on this tool many times in the past. Now there's an update. And to discuss it, I'm speaking with Product Manager Isabel Haug. Hello, Isabel.
Hi, Martin.
Isabel, the last time I used the Crane Finder, it looked completely different. What new features are there?
That's right. We've updated the user interface design in both the app and the web version, significantly improving the user experience in the process. We've paid particular attention to feedback from our users and have already implemented many of their requests. A quick start guide helps users to make use of all the features straight away. For example, it shows how to use the search box, how to adjust the crane parameters, and how to filter the results. We've also improved the homepage. It is much clearer and selecting individual parameters is even more intuitive. As a result, not only new users, but also experienced users can find their way around even more quickly. All in all, we can say that the Crane Finder is now clearer, more modern, and even more intuitive.
And how can I now pass this planning onto the driver?
It's done very easily with the Generate Report function. All the relevant information is summarized in a single PDF and can be shared directly with the crane operator. This makes communication between the planning team and the crane operator much more efficient and ensures that no important details are overlooked.
The Crane Finder isn't the only tool to have seen some updates after all. We still have Crane Planner 2.0 for detailed 3D planning. How can I transfer the planning from Crane Finder to Crane Planner?
Crane Finder now features a copy and share function for the setup code. This means the setup code can be easily copied or shared in both the app and the web version. Until now, the crane had to be set up manually, step by step in the Crane Planner, in line with the Crane Finder. This is no longer needed as the new setup code transfer function links the two tools in an intelligent manner. This is because the setup code encodes the most important setup parameters such as operating mode, ballast and support and much more in just a few digits.
And how exactly does this efficiency boost work?
First, the right crane with the optimum configuration is selected in the Crane Finder. As mentioned earlier, the setup code can then be copied and pasted into the Crane Planner. And just like that, the crane is loaded into the Crane Planner scene with the same configuration as in the Crane Finder. The detailed 2D and 3D planning then takes place without any delays.
So it really is easy and super quick.
Yes, that's right. It's a real win. Thanks to these new features, planning crane operations is now much easier and quicker.
Copy and paste, perfect planning.
Correct.
Thank you, Isabel.
You're welcome.
Incidentally, we're planning to integrate this setup code into other digital solutions in future as well. For example, in our crane simulator. Hi, Andreas.
Hi, Martin.
Andreas, you're a product manager. The crane simulator is a real innovation and has now been in use worldwide since the end of 2024. What has been the response to this new training system so far?
Together with our partner Tenstar, we have developed a solution that has been very well received by our customers. The simulator provides realistic training conditions that truly enable practical and efficient training.
But let's start with the hardware. What makes the simulator so special?
It includes a professional driver's seat, large screens, a pair of VR glasses and a touchscreen for operation, but also our optional Liebherr master switch controls, which really do deliver an authentic driving experience. This entire training environment can also be operated at a comfortable temperature. That means no more heat stress, but genuine digital training. Efficient and low risk too.
And what does this sort of digital training look like in practice?
Why not give it a go here yourself and try out the superstructure operation of a mobile crane?
I'd be delighted to.
The program is available in 25 languages and offers a wide range of tutorials. All the key functions, from stabilization, hook block assembly, telescoping, turning and lifting to tilting, are covered here. The simulator can also be operated in a multi-machine environment. In other words, several simulator stations can be linked together and training can be carried out on several machines simultaneously.
Is the simulator only available for mobile cranes then?
No, that's actually one of the key benefits of our simulator. In other words, I can practice operating various Liebherr machines here, such as a wheel loader or an excavator, but non-manufacturer specific machines can also be used for training here, ranging from forklift trucks to fire engines.
So with a large vehicle fleet, the investment pays off in more ways than one.
Absolutely. On top of that, machine availability increases significantly too. No machine is reserved for training purposes and as a result it does not suffer wear and tear. The simulator only requires a power connection too. In other words, not only does this improve the carbon footprint, but it also reduces operating costs.
Thanks, Andreas, for these insights and the crane training.
You're welcome.
So, that's all again for today. I'm going to carry on training here for a bit longer, and I'm already looking forward to the next issue with more exciting crane jobs and news from the world of Liebherr, mobile and crawler cranes. See you soon!